Yeah, we back at you all again with another flavor. We're going to let this room fill up. We're going to talk about this. We got 3 more games left on this thing. And I'm with my guy, Big Game James.
Yes, sir.
Everything else remained the same, baby. Yeah, I see you. I joined the notification squad for Silver and Blue.
Oh, we got to get on in here. Get on in here.
Yeah. All right, Cowboy Nation. When you're up against the struggles, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fall.
I like that.
You may conquer. See it through. Black may be the clouds about you, and your future may seem grim, but don't let your nerves desert you. Keep yourself in fighting trim. If worse is bound to happen, in spite of all that you do, remember, running from it will not save you. Cowboy Nation, we ain't hiding nowhere. Yes, it look bad right now, 6-7, but we're gonna talk the real deal on the field. All right, there's enough people.
We're gonna see what's gonna happen, man. We're gonna see what's gonna happen.
We're gonna see. We're gonna have to see what these Cowboys is all about. What Jerry Jones, since he's saying that they asked him a simple question: are you embarrassed? You know what I mean? What did he tell? What did he say?
He said, "Hey man, now watch yourself. Now I ain't got time for that. Now I ain't got time for y'all be acting all crazy. I'm gonna do this interview. I had a long trip from Chicago. I ain't got time for all that noise. Now y'all gonna do this right, or we ain't gonna do this."
Yes,
so he got them boys' attention. So
he got
that was like an old grandpa, old dad. You talking to him? He like, "Hey boy, you better watch your mouth who you talking to."
For those who didn't hear the audio, man, let me play it right quick.
The Cowboys fans want answers today. What answer do you have for how this team is playing right now?
We're not playing very well.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed as an organization about how the team is playing?
Get your damn act together yourself.
Now, he said, get your damn act together yourself.
Get your damn act together yourself. He said, I ain't got time for that now.
Settle down. So, it's time to settle down, right? It's time for us to get our act together, right? It's not about Jerry Jones getting his act together, right? It's about us getting ours together. So, Big Gay James, get your damn act together.
I mean, we got to get our act together, but we're wondering if these Cowboys are going to get their act together because we've seen these last few weeks have not been good. The team has not been playing good, especially the defense.
Right.
Like the offense being a number 1 rated offense has just looked empty. It hasn't looked like it's for it being number 1, you're looking at it like, how's that a number 1 offense? It just seems like not empty yards, but it just seems like we had talked about it, me and Skywalker still is.
Right.
A lot of times it seems like the reason why they're getting these big chunks of yardage in these games, 400-yard total, is because Cowboys have to drive 80, 90 yards a drive because the defense is not getting turnovers. Special teams is not put them in the right positions, and they're having to take all the way down the field. I mean, look at the first drive against the Bears, 17 plays. You get what I'm saying? And then nothing after that. And then next after that, it's nothing since you're down 24-7. Now you're just throwing the ball everywhere, so you're getting a lot of yards, but it wasn't yards that were really helpful during the game. It was almost toward the end where it seemed like it was like, man, how's that helping now?
Yeah, for those who don't understand that, what Big Game James is talking about, from a workout situation, you know, they say chips are a lot of empty calories, you see, meaning that you will eat those chips and then you won't get full. You just eat calories and it goes one place and it's to your gut. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys, they should look at this and say, okay, this is a gut check right now. We got this. We got I'm talking about all of the stats that you want as it relates to offense, but we're not putting money on the board when we get to the green zone, gold zone, red zone, money zone, however you want to call it. And I think that the way this thing can work out, if the Cowboys just pump the brakes, go back to what they was doing in 2016, even 17 for the first, 5 or 6 games before they faced the Atlanta Falcons. And then on top of that, if they go back to the 2018, what they was doing on the second half when they got Ahmad or Cooper, you see. So what they need to do is when they get into those situations with the money zone, green zone, they need to look at Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott, and say, okay, we're going to feed the beast. And I do know that he's been averaging subpar numbers. However, but when we get into that money zone, I think that we should be able to score, especially putting up the amount of yards that we are doing. How you feel about that?
I mean, there should be no reason why we can't score. You have almost 1,000-yard receivers. You have 1,000-yard back. You have a quarterback who's leading the league in the NFL as far as passing. Your offensive line is decent. You had some injuries along it, but it's still you're still averaging over 100 yards a game rushing. Still one of the top rushing teams in the league, even with Ezekiel Elliott not having the greatest year. So it's frustrating that you have all these weapons, you have these numbers, yet you're 6-7. So it definitely can happen, and it should happen. It just seems like, to me, what I said Sunday, it just seems like this offense is Linehan-ish. It just seems like it's got that Linehan type touch and feel to it, because we looking predictable again. Yeah. Remember what we were talking about with Linehan last year, and I'm not getting on Kellen Moore, but we were talking about how as soon as Ezekiel Elliott would get stopped up the middle, first couple of plays, first and second down, then we go into a spread offense, 5 receivers, and then what happened to the first few games where it was all this pre-snap motion and guys were going in motion, and it looked like you couldn't get a beat on us. Now it looks like they reverted back to last year when it was just the same type of thing. And I think that's why teams have a beat on us, especially these defenses, because it's basically become schemable again.
Well, this is to Kellen Moore's defense, and I love your your opposition on this or your position on this. We looking predictable. Here's the thing, Big Game James. Experience counts for everything. The way you talk on the phone and the way you execute or elocute your words and these sorts of things, you wasn't doing this 10 years ago, right? I mean, you dynamic. You probably was cool and poised with it, but you just wasn't doing this 10 years ago. And when expectation meets reality, the reality of the situation, a lot of people look at Kellen Moore and say, oh, man, he's a gem. He's going to be like Sean McVay. But people fail to realize that Sean McVay was not Sean McVay a year or so ago, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he first got into the NFL. He started off on the bottom end of the bottom end doing these type of things as relates to coaching and being around coaching and picking up philosophies and experience. And where I'm trying to sell this thing and bring it on home to everybody is that Kellen Moore is still a rookie offensive coordinator. He can't go back to the crevices of the thoughts of his mind and say, okay, 7 years ago, this is what's going on. And even if we look at the offensive line, this is only the second year for this offensive line to coach anything as it relates to that front 5 of offensive line. So that's why we're seeing the experiences go away because, well, not the experience go away. That's why we're seeing the lack of execution, the lack of poise, the lack of concentration. Because we just saw or heard throughout the media today and yesterday about Bill Belichick still trying to gain a competitive edge, still trying to figure out things. Because at the end of the day, these guys don't have experiences to pull from, and we were just fooled from thinking that this team is going to march in and just off of sheer talent alone, coached and led by Jason Garrett, is just going to dominate for 16 weeks. We just been led astray because they don't have any resources that they can pull from.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that because it's his first year, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a learning experience. But it just seems like whenever Garrett, I can't even get his name out. Whenever Kellen Moore, it seems like he wanted to open the offense or do what he did. It just seems like whenever you played a tough team, the offense is scaled back. Whenever you're playing a tough opponent, the opposition is scaled back. Hey ho! Already got a $4.99 holla. Appreciate you, big dog. Hey Lou, appreciate you. Also appreciate you. Ricky Wizenhunt, you're a troll right now. I appreciate you. Said we're dumb as hell. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for tuning in and saying that Dallas is trash. Who is your squad? Thank you and let me know, and then I won't talk to you no more the rest of the time. But, like you said, it's a learning process. You have a first-year coordinator for you looking at what he's done. Number one offense pretty much the whole year. So you have to say he's done well as far as you getting to 1,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard back, and having your quarterback one of the top quarterbacks in the league. But as I said before, you got to be able to make these better adjustments because this is crunch time. Right. You have 3 games where you cannot have any margin of error, and you need these games right now, especially these next 2, these Rams and Eagles. Eagles game that's the playoffs right there. You lose that game, right there. Out.
Yeah, and I love the way you put that in terms, and especially by Kellen Moore leading in those situations that would not be a calling card or a calling cry to say, hey, you let him go. if anything, you hold on to them and you try to develop that experience. But right now, we have to understand and face of going through the growing pains. Now, here's the other thing that you can do. When the Dallas Cowboys, if they want a clean house, and I'm talking about absolutely clean house, it will probably be best for somebody to just get rid of everyone, because you just don't know right now. I'm talking about as it relates to coaching, you see, because philosophies, when they commingle or when they intermingle with each other, I just made up a word, but when they intermingle with each other, what happened here is that you will find yourself pulling from old philosophies, and now you have your own philosophy, and then you will have that wavery of thoughts, and you don't know what to do when it comes down to a pivotal moment. And that's what I'm seeing probably with Kellen Moore. He probably look at it and say, well, the last time I tried to stood up and I say this is play will work, it was an interception. When I stood up on the table and said this play will work, it was a turnover on downs. You see? And,
right.
and now he's second guessing himself, you see. So that's what I'm pulling from what I can see with this team.
I can agree with that. I mean, but at the end of the day, we got to take chances. This is a league where you have to be able to do that. You got to be able to do that in this league. You see these other teams out there, and I'm not saying Dallas is the only one, but you see these other teams out there, just like with the rookies or young players they have on the team. They put those guys out there and say, hey, we need to win. We need to see what you guys are about, so we're going to throw you in there. Dallas doesn't do this. Like, we get scared. They get conservative and are, oh, well, you know what? I don't know about you. Just like you said, this play may not work. So you know what? We're not going to play Tony Pollard today because we're going to go with Ezekiel Elliott because we're going to go with the sure thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
We're not going to play a Blake Jarwin because we're going to go with a Jason Witten. We brought him back. We feel like he's more of a sure thing. And that's where I think has hindered and hurt the offense. Like I said, you've seen certain things that are just – it just doesn't make sense. You have to get your playmakers in the game. Even though you have this top offense, you still have to find ways to get your other playmakers in the game. And when you have a Blake Jarwin who's considerably better than Jason Witten as far as right now with pass catching, you got to involve him. If you have that Tony Pollard who's a guy that can help Ezekiel Elliott and bring more to the table, you have to involve him. You don't have time to say, well, let's just wait till next week. There is no next week in the NFL. You must find out, and you must do it now, because every game is tough. No matter who you play. And you know Dallas, whenever they play anybody, they're getting their best game. So you got to get them playmakers no matter what, and you got to figure this out. Because like I said, 3 games into the season, you don't want this offense looking uneven or this defense looking the way it is and heading into the potential playoffs looking like that.
Most certainly. Now, let me just give a quick shout out to all of the sponsors here, and the first person that's here in the chat box, because they let me know that you part of the notification squad. Shout out to Calvin Williamson, man, one of the mods, one of the first person in here. Alpha Mason, really appreciate you. Sip the Truth, really appreciate you. Joseph Ventura, Nene, and Savage Time, Meticulous Cowboy. I really appreciate you
What's
all.
Up, Meticulous Cowboy?
Always a lady. Yes, indeed. And shout out to John Jones, one of the first sponsors here. He just dropped $2 in the super chat.
$2 holla.
Holla. And Chad.
Dollar.
Jewels, man. Really appreciate you. He says Urban Meyer plus Zeke equals fire. We can make that segue. We can make that.
We can jump in. You want to jump into it now?
We freestyle all day, every day, baby.
We can do that. Let me give a few shout outs because there's only a few people coming in. I appreciate y'all. I got Chis Chaz 10. What's up with you, big dog? Sky Replays. How you doing? Manuel Corona, if that's what it is. I apologize. Boo thing as usual. Shout out to everybody that's in here. But yeah, we can segue right to that Urban Meyer, possible Lincoln Riley type of connection. Jerry Jones said, I ain't really talked to no Urban Meyer, but he opened the door to say, you know what, I haven't left the door and say I haven't talked to no coaches. But you know what? This is what it comes down to me with this whole thing, with this potential coaching search, if it happens with Jason Garrett, because he still wants Jason Garrett to win this. No matter what we say, he wants Jason Garrett to pull this out. It'll feel nothing better for Jerry Jones to have Jason Garrett pull this out of the hat so he can say, you know what? I was right, and we're going to stay here. But let's say Jason Garrett doesn't make it. Here's my thing with Urban Meyer. You posted a couple videos where Urban Meyer is breaking down some things on the Big Ten Network. Really good stuff. We've seen his work going from program to program, building winners. We've seen what Lincoln Riley's doing with Oklahoma, going for different quarterbacks and still being the top of his game. But to me, none of that matters if Jerry Jones doesn't back off and say, you know what, you can get your own staff. I'm going to back off. I'm going to get you this talent, but you go ahead and get your own staff and you make this work and do your thing. I have a hard time seeing that it's going to happen when he was just on the fan saying, I'm the GM. I don't need a middleman. I'm the one that runs this. I'm the one that tells Jerry. I'm the one that tells Jimmy Johnson. I'm the one that did this with Troy. It was all I heard was me, me, me. That's all I heard was Jerry Jones saying this is about me and I make the decisions. So it's hard for me to believe that he's going to get a new coach in here and just back off and let him do his own thing. That's the only thing. And my concerning problem is with this whole thing, even when you're talking about getting a new coach, because it could be the same thing happening again if that coach doesn't get the full control that he wants.
Yes, indeed, man. And you said a mouthful there, man. All that's good stuff. And shout out to the people that's on my Facebook. I left them out. Chesney, Gambino, Mike Robinson, Jermaine Underwood. I really appreciate you all. Cindy, really appreciate you as well. Here's the thing.
Love the ladies in there. What's up, ladies? We love the ladies. Tell all your ladies. Get your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your aunts, your sisters, all of them. Tell them to get in here and let's talk some Cowboys football. And donation.
Daniel Mazza with a donation to help grow the nation. Still Cowboy
There
Nation.
you go, Daniel. Go. There you go. Jump on here. Send me one too, Daniel. Daniel's son.
Daniel.
Shout out to you too. Daniel was on a vacation. I seen when you was out there. It looked beautiful out there, Daniel. I don't know exactly where you were at, but I was very jealous.
And Jay Form as well, man. He's always holding it down.
What up, Jay Farm? How you doing, big dog?
Here's the thing with coaching. And trust me, guys, I'm not all in on Urban Myers. He just the first person to fall in the pecking order. And then next I'm going to do a series of Lincoln Riley. And then I'm going to do the other guy, Pat, what's his name is Kellen Moore's old coach. I forgot his name. I think it's
oh my God, Chris Peterson.
Yeah, and Dabo Sweeney. I'm just gonna look at everything. I'm gonna take my time. You see, and when looking at these coaches, because it's all a la land. It's still Jerry Jones' team. Jerry Jones. At the end of the day, I want people to realize this. He does not feel the losses like we do. At the end of the day, he can get his Johnny Walker Blue, hop on a helicopter, fly all the way down there to Houston, Texas, and dap Eastside Harold up. And then on top of that, get on his yacht and sell all around the world, you see. And
right.
It doesn't feel the same. He's a billionaire with a B, bro. So he doesn't feel the way we feel. We lose, we go back to our little house, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we sip on some of that non-Johnny Walker Blue, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't feel the same way we does. And we know that he got the power and the keys to this organization to make everything change just like this, because there's no salary cap as relates to coaching staff and coaches. You see, that's all money out of his pocket. And he refused to put this team where they need to be. Now, is Jason Garrett completely trash? I would be the first to say this. He's not. He's not completely
No, he's not trash.
You know,
he's not trash.
He's not trash. But is he a dominant head coach?
No.
No. And
he's an average head coach. He's an average head coach. And there's nothing wrong. He's an average head coach. I said he's about an 8-9 win guy per year. I think he can do that per year. You've seen if he doesn't have the injuries, we've seen 12, 13 win seasons as well. So I'm not saying it can't happen, but the great coaches don't just have the regular season records. They make it happen in the playoffs. That's what the great coaches do. I mean, that's where the people define you. You're going to say, yeah, you're a good coach because you're in and you're out. You are keeping that team competitive and winning. But to be the great coaches when you get in the playoffs, because we all know in any sport, when you get to the playoffs, everything changes. Everything gets tighter. Everything gets tougher. And that's the way it is. And we haven't seen him take that next step after 10 years. And so that's why you're frustrated, especially when you see the same things going on year in and year out. Now, as I said before, it's not just a Jason Garrett thing, because I don't think he's a terrible coach, because it's Jason Garrett's been with the Cowboys 10 years. This has been going on 24 years. So obviously there's something bigger than that. And until we figure that out, or the Cowboys figure that out, I feel like the wheels are still going to continually spin no matter what they try to do. And that's just my opinion on it.
Yes, indeed. And within those 20 to 25 years, the highlight will be Bill Parcells. And I think that Jerry Jones wanted to get that stadium built, and he said, you know what, I'm going to fold a little bit.
I got to get that type of guy that people have been clamoring for. What were they
so
saying,
the
Law?
investors can say, okay, all right,
This
now
is
we got
money.
something we can stand behind. And they brought in Bill Parcells, but he was working with scraps at that point. Remember, they paid.
And he built the team with that draft because he had the 05 draft that really got the team together with DeMarcus Ware and Jay Ratliff and Brady James, those type of guys. That was a phenomenal draft that year. So he really helped build the team back up. But even then, what was Jerry doing? He said, let me go ahead and coach this team the way I want, and I'll come over and do this thing.
Right.
I don't know what that agreement was, but it sounded like Jerry was going to do it. But what happened? He said he didn't want T.O. Jerry went and got him anyway, and then the next year he quit.
Right. And that's just like second guessing or going behind somebody's back, and you sitting there. Because I believe in the hearts of hearts, maybe Bill Parcells had that sit down with Jerry Jones and said, hey, if you go get this guy, I'm not coaching. You know, this is my last year. This is the straw that's going to break the camel's back. And Jerry Jones went on ahead and said, hey, it's about putting butts in seats, so I'm going to go ahead and get this Terrell Owens, you see. And it was so much distraction with that situation. You had a young quarterback. We had all of these situations going back and forth. Of course, at the time, Tony Romo was not the starting quarterback. But you know what I'm saying? It was just like
the problems with with him and Witten. They boys, and you know how T.O. was, and it was just bringing on more issues that didn't need to be going. Hey ho, we got another $2 holla for my guy Tariq Salim. Appreciate you, Tariq Salim. Holla, he says, let some of these rookies get some shine like Luke. I feel you. You've talked about it, Law, and I know I've mentioned it. I think it's this time, like I said, you got to figure out what you got. Jason Witten's not coming back. I hate to keep
progress stop.
He's not coming back next year. So don't you think you have to find out what you have in Blake Jarwin, because he's a restricted free agent this season, okay?
Listen.
Also, you have Dalton Schultz, who you don't know what you have in him. You drafted him in the 4th round. You have to play him because Jason Witten ain't going to be there. So you have to find out what you have in Dalton Schultz. You have a safety in Donovan Wilson. I mean, you don't got to play him all game, but let's get some spurts here and there. Luke Gifford, other players. I think they called up Mitch Hyatt recently from the practice squad, so I think they probably want to see what they have. You have Brandon Knight. I'm not saying tank the season, but you still have to be able to see what's going on with these players because evaluation goes on at all the time.
The evaluation is 365, and I'm just going to segue over because I don't want to just re-echo what you're saying, because you're saying all solid points that we need to see those guys out there on the field. And we just don't know, because next year we're going to sit back and say, well, you know, we really didn't get a full chance or a good look at Donovan Wilson. We still don't know if Tony Pollard can run multiple snaps outside of the most snaps that he has is probably 11 or 12. They don't even know about him. So this 2019 draft is just a wash right now, because we don't know what we got from Tristan Hill. So this is just
Connor McGovern, Joe Jackson. Michael Jackson is gone. You have Mike Weber's on the practice squad. Jalen Jux is on IR. You don't have anybody really to speak of that you can talk about in this 2019 draft at all besides Tony Pollard.
And the craziest thing of all is that last game would have been a great opportunity to elevate Mike Weber to the 46-man roster, or even the 53.
Right? Why not? Why not give him a little bit of work? What is it really hurting you? I mean, the Bears.
Talked about Jameis Olawale. I think that you brought.
Oh my God, I've been telling you about him. You know, I've been telling you about Jameis. Like, first of all, why in the hell would you get rid of Keith Smith for a Jameis? Because you're trying to say you were trying to incorporate this new wrinkled offense, Dak-friendly offense last year. You're trying to bring him back. You got him on a 3-year, $5 million deal. He has no catches, no rushes. I think he had one pass attempt last year, and we saw what he did in the Indianapolis game when he dropped that sure touchdown. And then you go to him again when he hasn't seen the ball all year long.
Wow.
On a big play, and you throw it to him, and he ain't even looking for it. Now, I don't know I'm a bet man or not, but do you think Dak Prescott told you in that huddle, this going to you?
It's going to you.
This is going to you.
Nobody's not even going to expect
Law, we play football, and I know it's complicated in that huddle. But I think if you ain't seen the ball all year, All year. I think they say we're calling your number on this play. Be ready.
49.
It's coming to you.
It's coming.
Be ready. I mean, I've coached Little League, and when I've told a kid, hey, you know what? You ain't got the ball all year. This is coming to you. We're throwing the ball to you. When we hike this ball, you better turn around and look for it because we're throwing to you. That's what the hell I'm talking about, dog. It just don't make no sense. And when one last thing on that, it just really irritates me that once again the Cowboys made a average to mediocre quarterback look good.
They're making him look good, but I'm gonna go back to 49. And you know when he first got onto the team, man, I said, man, I like his skills. They catch out because they're using him right in Oakland land, Raiders land. They're using him right a little bit. He catch, he block. They. So when we lost Keith Smith, I said that was a dog, bro.
Keith Smith was a dog.
Dog, man. I would rather see Keith when they because they had the love affair with the other brother, 45, Rod Smith, because he was good. Yes, but he wasn't a dog. You know what I mean?
Keith Smith was a dog.
Keith Smith would peel out that hole, look for that person although he didn't do a lot when he ran the ball, but at least he could hit. That brother was finding people.
He played linebacker.
That's
feel me? He played linebacker for us.
Yeah. So I said, that boy right there is a dog, you see. And when we got rid of him, that's losing a little bit of our physicality, So if anybody want to say anything about physicality, man, we lost a piece of it when we let 41? That's what number he wore.
Yeah, Keith Smith, 41. When we let him go because he was physical, he was a great special teams player, good blocker. He could run a little bit, and he could catch the ball out the backfield. Yeah. He was a guy that you could use in multiple spots, and he was if you're talking about the right kind of guys and the team players, and he loved Dallas, it was almost felt like he would run through a wall for the Cowboys. So it was just like, man, y'all trying to get too cute and fancy, and you're not going to use this guy that you really thought you were going to use, and so that's just a waste. Just like to me, you got Devin Smith, who's been active how many games? Why can't we see him? You got Tavon Austin, who's not going to be with the team next year. You keep on talking about you're going to do all these miraculous things with Tavon Austin, and you haven't seen it all. So why the hell don't you deactivate Tavon Austin and play Devin Smith and let him play?
Yeah, because Tavon, he been getting so many looks, man. Because I've been looking at Tavon tape, and I was sitting there like,
come on, dog.
I wish he was a little bit taller. I wish he was a baller.
You feel me? But it ain't happening. That experiment is not working. We thought it was going to work. We got excited when you got him. I got excited when they got Tavon because I was like, okay, let's see what they're going to do. And once again, they morph back into their old selves, and they're not doing anything. They try to say they're going to be all tricky in the very beginning. When the tricky don't work, they scrap it and go right back to their old selves.
Shout out to you, Love and A-Reeds and Savage Time. So, I mean, that's what I'm looking at when I see this team. We're not physical enough. When we do put in Tavion, that's what Jerry Jones call him, and even with Randall Cobb, I love his ability to catch, but he's not the best blocker out in space, like a Grimes type of guy that can block. Hey, even the guy who used to have Butterfingers with us, Terrence Williams, at least
he would block.
He'll block. He was physical.
He would definitely block his butt off.
He might catch the ball with his chest, but he's not a great blocker out in space. I'm talking about the Randall Cobbs of the world. But neither here nor there. I've seen some people that break down this right here, a big game, James. They said, really, if you think about it, for all of the losses we were able to get, most of them came from the kicker, you see, Brett Maher. Now that we got Kai Forbath.
Oh, Lord. Come on, man.
I don't know. Is this reaching? Is this us trying to make the adjustment too late?
No, this is Jerry Jones listening to the fans, crying out, mad, pissed off. Jerry listens to the fans. After he may not try to hear that stuff in the very beginning, but once that chirp starts getting loud, because just like you just said it's dollars and cents. It's a businessman. He don't want to lose them $300, $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 tickets coming to his stadium. So guess what? He's listening to everybody clamor about get rid of Maher. You missed another one. You got him talking about he's sleeping good at night. I felt good. I slept good at night. Thought I kicked good.
Hold on.
What?
How did?
And what?
I'm trying not to cuss, but how in the bleep, bleep, bleep,
what did you just say?
How did he say that though? You see,
bro, you really said that with conviction. That's crazy in your head that you actually said that. So that right there is a cuttable a fireable offense that you even said that. So maybe that's what got you fired, that you went in the media and said something that asinine like that in the media. But that's Jerry Jones saying, I don't want to hear it no more. I'm tired of this by her thing. Go. But let's keep it real. These are field goal kickers, okay? You can't trust a field goal kicker. We seen what Dan Bailey was doing. When they go bad, they go bad. You never know what it's going to happen. You can have a field goal kicker 25 in a row. He misses one, and it could be in his head. He missed the next 10. That's what happens to him. So guess what? I'm not jumping up and down that we got Kai Horvath or whatever his name is, because if he misses 2 or 3 of them, it's going to be the same daggone thing.
He's good right now until he misses a kick, right?
Well, he's been unemployed, though, so he can't be that good. And everybody else who went, they were cutting him, too.
No doubt, no doubt. And here's another thing. People were saying, man, they did my boy Brett Maher wrong. Did you know that they let this boy go all the way to –
I seen it. He was at the kids, helping the kids, everything.
Yeah,
and
hospital, St. Jude, everywhere. You know.
That ain't wrong, because you know what? They'll do it to you like that in a real job, too. So people don't need to cry about that. They'll let you work the whole damn day and then say, hey, guess what? You're fired.
Oh, my goodness. Let that man.
So it ain't no difference. This is a job, folks. I know they play in the NFL and they doing something that we ain't doing, but it's still a job, and this is where it is. And you seen people half the time, these guys don't even get the people to tell them. They wake up on Sports Center and said, I got cut.
Not on his day off when he's doing community service.
Yeah, man, you doing community service. You got fired on your day off, dog.
I guarantee you this is how the situation goes. St. Jude or Children's Hospital say, we'll give you a kickback, Jerry, if you bring X amount of players to this facility for meet and greets or what have you. And he said, let me look at the schedule, you know.
Let me go ahead and look at
now I'm gonna be trite. I got to get rid of one of these guys, but I'll let him go anyway. So you need 7 of them. Now it will be 6, so I'm gonna let him go anyway.
Because Maher, this will be his last day here.
Yeah,
like I said, man,
go on that field trip and go let him get off the bus and say, "Hey, man, Jerry want to talk to you right quick."
Yeah,
they roll, man.
Hey, like I said, it is what it is. It's a field goal kicker to me. And the problem is, you know, when people are like, man, well, he missed this kick and this could have changed the game. It may have. But at the end of the day, Dallas dug themselves in the hole a lot deeper than a field goal.
Right.
Okay, the defense hasn't been playing. You got 104 missed tackles by the defense. That's tops in the NFL. Tops in the league, 104 missed tackles. You got Leighton Vander Esch, who has 14 missed tackles, 5th in the league, and he hasn't played 3 games. You got following him, Sean Lee, who everybody said, hey, keep Sean Lee because he's still the general. He still brings this and brings that. No, Sean Lee is a shell himself. He's had one good game, and that was against the Giants, and we see what they are. They're not good. He has 12 missed tackles. You got Jalen Smith with 11 missed tackles. These are core players right here. You got your secondary. Xavier Woods, who I number one thought was gonna take the next step, 8 missed tackles. Chidobe, 7 missed tackles. Darius Thompson, who's barely even been playing, he's got 6 missed tackles. Those are basic things that kill you with the team. It's not like these are talking about defenses and single high or cover 2, anything like these are the basic things. And if you're not doing the basic things like tackling, it's not going to look good for you when you're playing teams, especially when you just seen these Rams, and I'm not hyping these guys up, but they played a damn good game against them Seahawks. And they have 3 receivers, and the way that McVay dials up that offense with those trickery plays and sending them in motion, what is one of the things that we have problem with? Those drag routes, those in and outs, those quick the screens, the draws, the quick bubble screens. They're going to attack us in all those ways. McVay is licking his chops because he's like, they ain't tackling. So they can, and you got Gurley who loves to break tackles. So Cowboys got to get that together, especially on that defensive side, if they think they want to do anything about some playoffs.
Yeah, because when I saw Gurley run and he got out to that edge and he's still throwing old boy, I can think about like, man.
That's a problem.
And they was willing to tackle, you see.
Yeah.
And they had this Diggs. Oh, Diggs was a guy we could have got, but, you know, this is a story of a different day. But they had Diggs. He got 2 interceptions. He's just a nice, nasty type of person, man, for the Seattle Seahawks to pick up all of a sudden. And he was making plays even when he was in Detroit. It's just now that he's more on primetime games that a lot of people are paying attention to him. And I'm talking about the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I love Xavier Woods, but he would give us either one or the other. It's like that's his mindset. I'm gonna tackle today, or I'm going to take interceptions today and cover, you see. It's not we getting both of those type of avenues from Xavier Woods. And I love Xavier Woods, don't get me wrong, but here's the thing,
He's got to step his game up though.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been in the media talking about I'm the next Earl Thomas, and I'm got a chip on my shoulder because they were going after Earl Thomas, and I want to prove I'm the guy. Well, when you say those type of things, okay, you put the bullseye on your chest. Okay, you put the bullseye on your chest. Now everybody watches you, and this is your third year in the program. This is supposed to be your third year of next step taking over the secondary. That's why they supposedly didn't go after these other safeties because of you. But guess what? One thing that was a wart in college for Xavier Woods was his tackling. And one of the things that they said in his profile, and I watched, was Xavier Woods likes to go for the big hit, and he didn't wrap up. And when you watch him now, he likes to go for that big hit, but he doesn't wrap up. And he's taking horrendous angles the last 2 to 3 weeks. He's been taking horrendous angles on these players. You had that last few touchdowns where he's on the last line of defense. These guys just making one cut, and he's right there. They're walking right in the end zone. That's not good play.
Definitely not, man. James, man, they saying you speaking all types of fire, man.
Hey, I'm just trying to keep
flames
it
coming around this thing on you.
Flame
man.
on!
Flame on. Yo got flame.
Yo got fire. Yo got flame.
and here's the thing is, newsflash, Cowboy Nation. If you have not been tackling well now, it does not improve. Because I think that somebody, and I wish we had a research department, what have the Cowboys' record been since we moved from Valley Ranch all the way out there to Oxnard and beyond, what have you. I want to know, if you guys can pull that up for me. I really appreciate it because we need to have some type of physicality. You've been out there to Oxnard. It's nice out there. I mean,
but let's be honest, though, Law.
Talk to me.
Me and you were out there at training camp. Did those look like physical practices?
No way.
They didn't. I mean, and I'm not trying to harp on it, but when I watched those practices did not look like hard-ass practices. They didn't. I'm not saying it was like a country club atmosphere, but they didn't seem like those were crazy hard practice. Now, I heard Rod when he was getting at him and yelling at him and things of that nature, and I don't think Rod is a slouch. But it just didn't seem like those were crazy hard practices, and those guys were just getting killed and worked like to death.
So
just my opinion.
And everybody's too lax, man. I want to see some, like, it took us forever to get to the first fighting practice in Oxnard. And all of this stuff trickles all the way down, the mentality, the softness. And I'm not calling the players soft individually, but collectively they are soft. They allow teams to punch them in the mouth, and they have no way of shaking it off and saying, okay, you punch me in my mouth, I'm going to come back and punch you harder. And that's what the Bills did to us, and that's what the Chicago Bears did to us. They said, okay, you punched us first. That's cool. All right, let me wipe myself right quick, you see. And I'm going to hit you with the two pieces and the combos. You see what I'm saying? And I think that this team, in order for us to beat the L.A. Rams, we have to punch them in the mouth and then continue to punch them in the mouth. Because the moment we fall behind against them at our own stadium, it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be one of those games where they're going to look around. The crowd's not going to really be there. It's going to be looking at it, and they're going to feel comfortable. They're going to be looking at that big old TV screen, and they're going to be like, yeah, it's like a prime time slot, what have you. I don't know. What time that game going to be, James?
4 o'clock. 4:25, prime time.
See,
we on prime
slide,
time.
It's one of those things where it's a pivotal game for them, so they going to want to say that they want it more than we do. So in order for us.
Well, right now, you got to look at this is this is the thing. This is where I worry about the Cowboys being lax because it was do or die for Chicago. But the Cowboys, if they lost, they were still in it. You don't think that plays on the Cowboys' mind? When I watch them Rams, they're playing for their playoff lives. They can't lose a game. They cannot lose a game. So they're playing like it's a playoff game every single game. So if the Cowboys don't come in there with that mindset of a playoff game, the Rams are coming in there like this is do or die. They're not coming in there like this is the second or third game of the year. They're coming in there that we have to make the playoffs. This is a playoff game.
And guess what?
They are going to come in there. And they have Wade Phillips as their defensive.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
And they have Wade Phillips as their defensive coordinator who is eating us up. And guess what? You don't think Wade Phillips has forgotten what Jerry Jones did to him and undermined him with Jason Garrett? You don't think he's forgotten how they played him and got rid of him like that? So he loves nothing more than to come in and stick it to Dallas. And you don't think his players want to do it for him? Me and Skywalker still was just talking about, did you see how the Buffalo Bills reacted with Cole Beasley when he came into the locker room? They act like they won the Super Bowl for him. Players will do that.
Goodness.
And them players are going to get up for the Cowboys for Wade Phillips because he hasn't forgot this. I got one quick stat to give you right quick.
Give it to me, man.
Where our defense needs to step up. Look at these QBR ratings against the Cowboys this year. I'm going to name you these quarterbacks. Mitchell Trubisky, 115.
Wow.
Josh Allen, 120. Jeff Driscoll, 109. Kirk Cousins, 111. Sam Darnold, 113.
Dang.
Case Keenum, 103. Eli Manning, 95.
Live like 95. That's a good number though. But dang, boy, they've been having a field day on our team. But we at that time when we played the first few quarterbacks, we were top 10 defense and stuff like that, right?
We're still a top 10 rated defense.
No way, for real?
Yes, they're still the 8th ranked defense in total yards. But stats can be deceiving. Where they say stats can be deceiving, this is where I think they're deceiving in that aspect because you look at, it's a top 10 defense. They should be doing it. But when you watch Dallas, that does not look like no daggone top 10 defense to you.
All right, man. Good Lord. Hey, I want to be able to ask you all because I know you guys know it more than I do. And Big Game James, you may know this.
Mm-hmm.
Did a Jason Garrett beat Wade Phillips since their departure? Did he ever dominate it against Wade Phillips at any time?
I don't think he ever has. I mean, like I said, Wade Phillips is 2-0 against him. But I mean, at least with the Rams, I don't know what other teams. What, didn't he coach the Texans too? Was he coaching the Texans?
I don't know. Was he on that Denver's Broncos team?
Was he on that Broncos team in 2017? I don't think he was. I don't think he was the, hey, ho, I got a Chaz number 10. What a $5 holla.
Yeah.
$5 holla. Dollar. He says, after last season, rehire Meyer and no upgraded interior defensive line tells you how sorry GM is. As long as Jerry, the GM, no bueno. Remember, Marinelli out the draft room.
Kick that, brother.
He's so funny when he gives me that hashtag. But, I mean, I don't know what that record is outside of with the Rams. But I just know that Wade Phillips is a damn good defensive coordinator and probably will go down as one of the best defensive coordinators ever, I think, because everywhere he's gone, he's had success. Everywhere he's gone, he's had success. And so this is just one more thing that the Cowboys just have to get together. And I made this point on my show I did, Sunday Law, that you have not like a complex scheme that the Cowboys run, and you have average talent. Complex, average type scheme, basic type scheme. Right. Average talent means your defense looks like it may get run through because when your talent is not matching that and you're doing a basic type scheme. And also, I was watching a Rams interview. My bad, right. Law. I just want to say this. I was watching a Rams interview and I was listening to what they were talking about the Seattle Seahawks and what they were talking about Russell Wilson. And I was listening to Dante Fowler. I was listening to Clay Matthews.
Right.
And those guys were talking about the reason why they won that game on the defensive side. They said they kept gap integrity. They kept gap discipline. And they said they did not do anything on their own. I listened to that. He said they did not do anything on their own.
Wow.
So sometimes when I watch our defense and when I talk about the discipline issues, because a lot of the guys have been getting in trouble with the marijuana thing, but that's a whole different subject. But I'm just saying, it's still, I think, discipline issues are staying disciplined when you're on the field. And I feel like sometimes those guys aren't keeping the gap integrity or keeping the discipline and trying to be the hero instead of playing your position. Because when you try to be the hero and don't play your position, it affects the whole team. And I'm not trying to call certain players out, but when I see sometimes when I watch Malik Collins on that all-22,
oh my goodness, man,
that dude loves rushing the passer, but he will not save his life to stop the run.
God dog.
You won't do it. He will not stop the run. And I've seen plenty of games where he does not stay disciplined and he goes on his own. And when he goes on his own, the running back, when he happens to go on his own, he runs up the middle, and it's a 20-yard gain. And I'm not just putting this all on Malik, but I just feel like there's a discipline issue as far as staying where you're supposed to play, stay in your lane, stay disciplined, because when we're not, we're just all want to rush the passer. Teams exploit us, and they make the adjustments, and we get exposed.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a glaring situation for us for many of years now, and I think that most of that comes from, like you said, discipline. We can look at it and say, well, it's the players and these sorts of things. Somebody can say that, but I refuse that. I think that at this point, when you see the same situation happening, regardless of the players that you have on there, then it should be pointed back at the coach at this point. And I'm trying
Coach
to keep
this
everything
kid up,
PC,
man.
I'm trying to keep everything PC.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Big Game James. As we talk about this, I heard a lot of people. Shout out to you, Dominic, man. Shout out to you, Terrence, that's on me, and Gambino again, and Mike on the
What
Facebook.
up, Gambino?
Cool name, man, Gambino. And Mouse over here on the YouTube page and Loving Aries. I'm just giving a shout out to everybody. Here's the thing.
Shout out.
Here's the thing. What year did they fire Wade Phillip?
That was 2010.
2010.
Was it 2009? It was 2000, end of 2009, I believe. No, it was 2010.
It was a mid-season deal, right?
2010.
We
it was
lost
2010.
We lost
it was
to the
mid-season
Green Bay,
2010.
right?
Yeah, it was mid-season 2010, I believe.
I think Clay Matthews, even at that point, was flying around.
They was eating us alive in that game. You knew it was over. Everybody knew it was over that game.
Right. So everybody knew it was over that game. And what I'm trying to bring home to, and I know I'm long on this delivery, but what I'm trying to bring home to Cowboy Nation is this right here. They said that a couple of weeks ago that there's no particular individual coaching is doing a great job or doing a good job who they can make the interim and elevate. And it hit me the other day when I said, man, when we fired Wade Phillips, who was the individual coach that was doing well at the time? You can't tell me the offense was putting up money. You can't tell me we lost those games based upon the defense. And the defense, of course, just that game, yeah, they put up 40. But I can tell you there was a lot of turnovers and stuff going on and, a whole bunch of other stuff. So if they made that move then, I think that if something were to happen this weekend, they need to make that move again and just elevate somebody else to remove Jason Garrett. And I do know that my guy, my brother from another mother, no other don't look like Danny Glover, Vaj Lombardi says, well, Law trying to burn the house down. Well, at this point, let's set that mug on fire. I almost said that.
Why not?
Why not?
Why do we have to keep on? And like I said, this thing to me is not just a Jason Garrett thing, in my opinion, because
right.
Jason Garrett's been there 10 years and it's been 24 years of it. So we ought to understand it's not just Jason Garrett. So I'm not just heaping all the blame. I'm not just even saying Jason Garrett is it. But I need to understand is, like, come on, man. How many more years do we need to see it to think this is going to miraculously happen? Okay.
True.
If the Rams come into Dallas and drop like a 50 burger on Dallas, what the hell would you keep Jason Garrett for? What are we going to sit there and say, and what are we going to believe now we 6-8 that we're going to miraculously go into Philly now and they geek to play us now? You know what I'm saying? To go to the playoffs. We're miraculously going to put something out the hat. It doesn't work like that. They try to compare us. We try to compare the team. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm only going to keep it real. They try to compare, what about remember the New York Giants were 6-6 in 2011? And everybody was trying to fire Tom Coughlin, and they went on a run. I feel like Tom Coughlin is a better coach than Jason Garrett. That's just my opinion. But they had a better defense than us, too. True. They had a better defense than Dallas, okay? And I think Eli Manning was playing a little better. He's not playing like he was now. That's 8 years ago. And he just came off the Super Bowl victory like about 3 or 4 years ago. So my thing is, if you have a situation where the Rams come in and smack us, what would be the point? Well, I mean, what would you believe that they're miraculous going to come back from that?
Man, I mean,
I don't know how you come back from Mitch Trubisky. That dude set records, NFL history on the Cowboys, dog. NFL history, Law.
I got only one glimpse of hope. Is that this quarterback, Goff, he's not a running quarterback. He's not going to be able to run. And I do know that last year he got the edge on my guy, Jeff Heath. But I think that, he's not a running quarterback. So we'll see. Of course, somebody gonna say, "Well, Tom Brady wasn't a running quarterback," and with the help of the officials and a whole bunch of other stuff,
the rain and weather.
The rain and weather. I mean, we can point fingers and you are what you are at this point. However, I just look at it from those parameters. If we can create some type of pressure, I think I used your clippings of the comparison analysis of Jay Goff and Dak Prescott for this year. Dak Prescott.
But you know what?
Go ahead, talk to me.
Here's the thing, though, Law. Goff is not really mobile, but they still move him in the pocket. If you watch that game, in that Seattle game, he was doing a lot of rollouts, a lot of bootlegs. They like to get him on the move. Because when he was stationary, he wasn't doing good. When they had him on the run doing bootlegs and getting him out and where he can throw the ball on the run, he was doing damn good. So they do, even though he's not the most mobile guy, they like to get him out the pocket because they like to create confusion. You know how McVay is. He's all about trying to create confusion. And if he sees something not working, especially with Goff, he will make that quick adjustment. So I think they will try to do it. It's going to be up to the Cowboys to match them as far as adjustments goes. Yeah. If you see that if they're making adjustments, Cowboys going to have to adjust too as well. And the biggest thing to me, and I keep coming back to it, got to be able to tackle. One of the reasons why that defense was good last year, because they tackled. They flew to the ball, and they got the guy down on the first tackle. That is not happening this season, and you're seeing it suffer in the play.
Yes, indeed. And let me just pull out this, man. Shout out to Jay Form, man. He brings out I'm telling you, he's gonna bring out them numbers, man. He says 2011 Giants defense was ranked 25th. The Cowboys were ranked 13th. Do you have what's the first year they won the Super Bowl? Was it 07 or something like that?
07 was their first Super Bowl.
Do you have that, Jay, as well? Where they ranked their defense? But that team was just off of pure momentum, and I think that I want to say the
who do we have, like Anthony Spencer and DeMarcus Ware? That's it. We didn't really have nobody on defense. I know they were playing bad, so rankings. That's all good.
It's all good,
but we all know that we look at just a few of our rankings and they look deceiving. So we've seen teams with bigger rankings. Doesn't mean that they're the better team.
And trust me,
or the better players.
I would rather have that team that can take turnovers and takeaways. Like I believe one year the Saints had a team that was just very flying out to the ball, took the ball away from the opposition. And I think the Colts, I forgot what year those teams were, but they were a team that their respective defense wasn't that great, but they took the ball away. And I think that this team right now is just allergic to that. They can't find ways to take the ball away. They'll look at the ball, they'll bounce off their chest like they're playing volleyball, or they'll look at the ball on the ground and say, look at it, it look pretty, you see. And they just don't go our way. And even last game, even though we did get those turnovers, we didn't do anything with them.
No. Mm-hmm. And you saw how much better of a team Dallas is when they had turnovers. You saw when they played the Eagles, when they had that like quick 2-game run when they got like 8 turnovers in those 2 games. You saw how much better it put the offense in. They had great field position, where Dallas has been hard as hell to get this year. All these long drives because the defense once again doesn't get turnovers. The field position as far as the special teams has not been great as far as with the punting it goes as well, and the coverage. So when you look at those aspects, it's always the offense has to take all the way down the field. So the defense has to get opportunities. When they've made those opportunities, you saw how much better the Cowboys have played. So the defense has to get some opportunities, get some turnovers, make some plays, and be disciplined. Once again, remember when that game against the Bears, they're driving down the field. It was kind of going back and forth. They were on 3rd and 2. What do we do? Right. Offsides.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Discipline, those are the things. You need that. Get them out on that 3rd and 2. We need to get the ball back. You have a bonehead play. Michael Bennett has done it like 5 times this year, and it's been on 3rd downs. You can't do those things.
Shout out to you, Phil, man. Really appreciate you for making the donation to help grow the nation. He says, hold me to this. No Super Bowl till Jerry Jones is gone. Yeah.
I already been said that. I think it's got to be under Stephen Jones. I know people don't want to hear it and they call you a pessimistic, but I don't care. Okay? I don't care.
Yes, indeed.
That's just my opinion. Let me give a few shout outs to some people, right? James Nooks, what's up with you, dog?
Nooks.
Chucky TL, Javier Hermosillo, what's up with you? He said, let's get some more likes here. Yeah. Jeff Pertit, what's going on with you? How you doing? Game changer. Yo, what's up with you? Keep on them donations rolling, man. Keep on donations. Send them super chats in. We need some more donations. We're talking some good stuff here today.
Yes. So in the future we can incorporate like phone calls and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we trying to get that. If you ain't busy, ain't we trying to get that our first watch party on the Rams? We might be getting that popping too. So make sure y'all tune into that. We're gonna talk during the week about getting that watch party popping with Big Game James and Law Nation. I know you love that.
Yes, indeed. Us going over the game. You know, that would be dope. And shout out to my guy Jay. He was saying that 2007. Remember, I asked the Giants were 17th ranked overall in defense, and the Cowboys were ranked 8th in total defense that year. So appreciate you for the history.
Appreciate you, Jay. He always come with it.
Yes,
I always got big respect and salutes to you.
So what do you see this team going, Dan? We got 3 more games left. So what do you see?
You want my honest opinion?
Honest opinion. None of that shit.
I don't see us going nowhere.
6-10.
And I don't see us going nowhere. I think we can beat the Redskins just because Redskins, but I'm sorry. By looking at what I see, I'm not just going to go on this blind faith because it's with the Cowboys. It's my team. I'm not going to keep doing that. I when I'm watching how the team plays and I see these Rams coming in this week, and I'm not even trying to be pessimistic, and I think we can move the ball in their defense.
Right.
But my thing is, how are we going to stop them? if they haven't stopped the Bears, and they don't have no kind of weapons. You got Robert Woods.
But let me ask you this, though, before you go into that. Did you see the Rams beating the Seattle Seahawks? Like the way they beat them?
I didn't, but when you watched them the first time, it was 2019. It was a close game. Russell Wilson's kind of split them up, dropped 4 touchdowns, but they also didn't have Jalen Ramsey, too. Jalen Ramsey has made a little bit of a difference.
Did you see the Denver Broncos beating your cousin team, our cousin team, Eastside Harold team?
I damn sure didn't.
Oh, that's why Eastside ain't here.
Yeah, that's why I ain't here. Hey, don't worry about that. Hey, listen, don't worry.
That's why Eastside ain't here, man.
Don't worry about that. I got his phone number. I talked to plenty. I talked to Eastside plenty, and I sent him some good memes. He gave me some good LOLs. He didn't want to come because he knew I gave him the business. And I got a $2 holla from my guy. Is that Mr. James Nooks? What's up with you, James Nooks? I appreciate the donation. He said, I'm already expecting us to lose. But here, check this out, though, Law. Why you just saying that? You just said, did you expect the Seattle and the Rams, or did you expect? But here's the thing. I believe that when you seen that Broncos game, it's human nature. The Houston Texans are like, we're gonna beat the Broncos. They got a freaking rookie starting his second game, Drew Luck. We're gonna whoop them. And the next thing you know, the Broncos jump up on that. Excuse my language. They jump on that ass early, and then next thing you know, you can't come back from it. It happens. These are not robots. These players look at these other teams like, man, they suck. We're going to beat them. They ain't thinking about them. And the next thing you know, this team gets up 14 points. They're like, oh, shoot, we're going to start playing ball. Now you start trying to force things because you like, oh, damn, we shouldn't be back. Now the mistakes come. That is the reality of it. And even the Seahawks players, I looked at some of their interviews. I don't know how true this is, but they said they were smelling themselves. They said they were smelling themselves at 10-2. They said, they were thinking, we got this in the bag. We know we can beat the Rams. And you know what? The Rams came in there playoff hungry. Seattle came in there a little complacent, and then you get an ass whooping.
A big time one. All right, let me read some of these super chats for being the sponsor for this.
Yes, sir.
For these minutes right here. Cowboys champs. Shout out to you, man. Cowboys champ. What a name. He says Marinelli is the problem, not having a quality defensive tackle. I agree 1,000,000%. Skeptical fan says death to the Tampa 2. Shout out to you for making the donation to help grow the nation. And Neems says common denominator is the escape dementia patient Jerry Jones. Yeah, so
dementia,
Alzheimer's. So we get all of those things, man, and I really appreciate you all for making the donation to help grow the nation. I would say stupidity is the number one reason why this defense looked the way It does. We never make the necessary investments. We continue to build our house on sand, on quicksand, or what have you. And when the winds come blowing, it looks good. You look at that frame all through training camp, like my guy Jay was saying, that, hey, we soft as, cottonelle.
Yeah, he was calling it. I think he was on the show.
Week
he was calling
week
it.
one, week two, week three. He said
I think
we
he
still
busted
soft.
me out on it. Yeah, I think he busted me out, and I appreciate you, Jay. I overrated the front line a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the first to admit it. Overrated that front line a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
We got average players along that front line,
right?
And it's showing.
It's showing. So we keep building our house on this quicksand and saying, okay, hey, look at it. It looks good. Come on, invite your mama, invite your cousin over, man. Let's take a look at it. It's pretty. Mm-hmm. It sure is pretty, boy. Look at the Cowboys. Boy, let's put a name on the side. Oh, let's name them Hot Boys. Let's name this other. I was going there, Big AJ. Let's just name this other. Let's name the secondary. We need us a nickname. Let's name them the Purge Squad. And I think you and I were saying that, hey, can they just be the Dallas Cowboys?
Can y'all just shut people down? That's all.
Right. Just shut people down. So that's what we're looking at when we look at the Dallas Cowboys. It looks pretty. It looks good on paper. We got all of this stuff out here, and we have the wrong person digging the foundation in there. You see what I'm saying? We keep building this thing on sand and quicksand, and we telling everybody, come on over and take a look at it, and it can't survive through the storm. And I would tell everybody, that trash can full of dirt, you talking about not being able to plug those lanes or fill those lanes. I guarantee you will be able to do it if you had a 345-pound person right there on the inside.
Now, as long as Marinelli's back there, and that's a whole nother thing. I'm gonna get a question right quick, and then I want to ask you some questions on that law right quick. I got Game Changer asked, do you think we should switch to a wide 9 defense? It's not gonna happen. If they're having problems with an in-game adjustments,
that's like a 3-4. Yeah,
you feel me? They definitely not going to do that. No way in hell. But here's my question I want to ask you, Law. I think it just slipped my damn it, daggone, and pissed me off because it was a good ass question too. Excuse my language. No, I'll figure it out. It'll come back to me. It's that early dementia.
let me play the rest of that Jerry Jones.
Okay. Now we're going to have a good visit this morning, but settle down just a little bit.
I as a Cowboys fan, Jerry,
got a lot to go over. Not going with your question, but I'm going to give you the answers I want to give you this morning, and I don't like your attitude, dude.
There's old Papa Jerry.
He said, "You better watch yourself." What's up, Daniel Meza?
I just wish that somebody was in there saying, "Oh, no, I'm telling you, are you embarrassed?"
Right.
Did that.
Yeah, they
did that.
Hell no, they scared of Jerry. That boy would have been like, "What?
What?
Okay, you know what? Who's that one guy? Get him off the air. I'm Jerry Jones. I run Dallas.
Hey, do you ever watch The Breakfast Club, Big Game James?
Yes.
That Shalom, was it not Shalom?
Charlamagne got it. Donkey of the day.
Man, he don't ever fold when he answering them questions, don't he?
No, he stay too, like, they'll be talking reckless to him. He'll be like, okay, but still answer the question though.
Answer the question though. That's the Dallas media need to hire Charlamagne the God to do these interviews. I promise you.
Oh, he'll go hard on Jerry.
He'll go hard on him.
He'll never be allowed in Dallas again.
He gonna say, I don't like your attitude.
I don't like your attitude at all. Don't you? He'll never allowed to be on air in Dallas. He said, "Is that Charlamagne here?" Because I told you about him.
Jack with you today.
I understand questions. The Tolos and the Cowboys fans want answers today.
I ain't got time.
What
to jack
answer do you have for how this team is playing right now?
We're not playing very well.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed as an organization about how the team is playing?
Get your damn act together.
He said, get your damn act together. He said, get your damn act together. What? That man is crazy.
Man, I can't wait. I haven't.
So that's why you can't have no damn GM when he's saying that stuff. Yes. You ain't never going to have a GM when he says that. Watch it. Hey, ho, I was waiting for you. I knew you was going to get me. Daniel Meza. What a $4.99 holla. Shout out to you, Big Game Jays. No, shout out to you, Daniel. And I'm glad I don't know if you came back from your trip, but if you did, I'm glad you're back and you made it safe and it looked like you had a great time. And shout outs to you.
Yes, indeed. I've seen a lot of people want to sway it over to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's talk about them. They beat the Giants.
Break
The Giants
that game.
good.
Break that game down then to me.
I mean, I only saw the second half because I don't like neither. I only saw the second half. I don't like neither one of them damn teams, so I ain't gonna sit there and I'll try to watch that. All I know is the Giants aren't good. Mm-hmm. Eli looked like he threw some magic out of there, but whatever. That ain't no magic. It's just Philadelphia's secondary is terrible. Okay, and the Giants are just not good. That's why they came back and got beat. But I saw in that second half, the Giants are terrible. When Zach Ertz is killing you, they're going to him.
Right.
They don't got Alshon Jeffrey in the game. The receivers are hurt. And who does he always rely on?
Oh, my goodness.
Ertz. And they're going to him every play, and he's still doing it. So I'm just looking at that like that's terrible. I mean, what can we say? The Eagles just aren't that much better than Dallas Cowboys, but who knows what's going to happen? We got to know what team is going to show up because Philly's going to be chomping at the bit. What team do they hate more than anybody? Us. And do you think they want no better, especially they have a 4-game losing streak against Dallas right now? They haven't beat Dallas since 2017, okay? And this could be for their playoff spot. They would love nothing better than to knock us out. Like, you remember that 44-6 game?
Right. Oh, my goodness.
You remember that?
Yeah.
I don't want to see nothing like that, but they're chomping at the bit for that type of stuff because that's a win or go home. You lose that game, you're out.
I mean, you speaking nothing but the truth. So if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a nice front four, and they pull some running back from somewhere, nowhere. Just like we went and picked up a guy from the practice squad, and everybody was like, "Hey,
yeah, I seen that receiver,
receiver, track star, what have you." I love guys at the bottom of the roster, but this guy Boston, Boston Scott, what have you? It's like a second coming of the Sproles a little bit. Shifty, short, low center of gravity, can catch the ball out of the backfield. And we already know, Cowboys Nation, we have a little issue with quarterbacks that can run and running backs that can get out in space. So
right.
And I think that we got tight ends pretty much locked down a little bit when we focus in on them. But neither here nor there. I look at this team, the Eagles. They really don't scare anybody that wears silver and blue.
No.
And I think that we should be ready and true to knock them all the way out of their miseries when it comes time to play them.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we should.
That's what we hope.
That's the operative word, should.
We should. But the problem is, once again, and Law, go back to this when we first started the beginning of the season. Remember when we were talking about the talent of the team, and I said, that's all good. The guys are looking good in training camp. But don't none of that matter if this coaching can't get us over the hump. Didn't I tell you that?
Man, you said it, man.
I said don't matter about none of it. If this coaching staff can't do anything with this talent. And look where we're at once again. Talking about the same thing last year. Tired of talking about it. You think Cowboys fans and media want to talk about Jason Garrett every year?
Nah.
No, we want to talk about wins, playoffs, championships. That's the only thing Cowboys want to talk about because that's what Cowboys fans are used to. And like I said this before, and this is to Jerry Jones and this to the players, this is my opinion. I don't want to hear the players crying about, like media can't say nothing to them or get on them. This is a job. This is a performance-based job, okay? And if you don't perform at your job, you're going to get fired. You're going to get reassigned or they're going to cut your hours. And if you did good 2 months ago, they don't care. They care what you're doing now. And just because you got 10 or 14 sacks, I'm not busting this on DeMarcus Lawrence. Just because you got that last 2 seasons, you got to get that this year. I see Cameron Jordan and all those guys that have been doing it.
Right.
They got 14 and a half sacks. They got Chandler Jones. He's still doing it. He got like 14 sacks this year. So I'm not dogging DeMarcus Lawrence, but if you are getting paid like the guy, like Jordan, like those guys like that are doing it, they're still doing it. They haven't had a fall off. Yeah. And I'm not saying he has gone any less hard because if you look at his pressures, QB pressures, I think he has like 31 QB pressures. But you need more from DeMarcus Lawrence. He even came out and said, I got to give you more. You got to, because even though those guys might not be making that impact like on the sack total, you have to be able to do that because when you got those other guys out there that are still producing, Aaron Donald's got 11 sacks.
From the interior.
from the interior defensive tackle. He's got 11 sacks.
Make my face.
You're getting
ball
paid. Up. He's getting paid like him, right?
Yeah.
And I think Khalil Mack's got 10.
10? He got 10 of them?
He had 9, and then they were talking about he was in danger of not getting 10, a double-digit sack, and he got one against Dak.
Oh, my goodness, man.
So you get what I'm saying? We need more from you, DeMarcus, and we need it now. We just need more from the team. Forget Jason Garrett. Players. Let's not even talk about Jason Garrett or none of them. Mm-hmm. Players, look what's inside yourselves. Look what's inside yourselves and say, do we really want to do this? Let's stop talking in the media. Let's stop talking about what we're going to do. Let's stop saying this and that. Let's stop talking. We got Garrett's back. Let's just go out in the field because nobody wants to hear us talking no more.
Yeah, especially
we got
our head coaches back. We don't care about that.
We don't give a hell if you're telling you got your head coaches back, because if you had your head coaches back, you wouldn't have played that performance you get against the Chicago Bears.
True.
Hey, I got a $10 holla from Chiz Chaz 10. I appreciate you very much, Chiz Chaz. You are a faithful. I like you a lot. And he says, joke per Twitter, don't give grown-up children a hard time. They believe in Santa Claus, because I know how many grown-ups that believe in the Cowboys. I seen that Twitter feed, and I would give you a shout-out on that one because I was thinking that was funny too.
It was funny.
When I seen that. But as I said before, if this team is talking about they got Jason Garrett's back all like that, I got Jason Garrett's back, we got our coaches back, then don't have a performance like you did against Chicago. If you have your coaches back, if you have all your coaches backs and blah, 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 then show it these next 3 damn games.
They need to show it, man. Man, I think right now, Cowboy Nation, when we look at this team from A to Z and we look at the stats, which, as they say, stats are for losers, and we look at the win-loss record, And there's no way we can put glaze or sugar on this thing. Cowboys, we got to really show up against the L.A. Rams, and we got to show up against the Eagles, and we got to show up against the Washington team, and then we got to show up when we get into the playoffs.
These are all playoff games.
Every one of these
are playoff games.
Yeah.
These are playoff games.
This is a playoff game, so that's been our expectation for this thing, man. Any other thing you want to get out, man, before we wrap this thing up?
Hell to the nose. Just show up. Show up and show out.
Let me see how many people in this chat, man, over here.
Yeah, I don't want to hear no more of the excuses. I told you see what my cover page is on my Big Game James page, right?
Mm-hmm.
No excuses.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the cover page. No excuses. And I made that 5 weeks ago because I don't want to hear the excuses. Mm-hmm. Nobody would want to hear an excuse from me if I was on the football field, would they? Would they want to hear from me, Law?
No. They wouldn't want.
They want James to shut the hell up and perform. That's all they want to hear.
I like when we gave the analogy before we went live like 95. And I want to see if the Cowboys people that's in the chat box right now, when you guys go to Walmart, well, I'm going to use Walmart because they never give you the flat-out good customer service. But you be mad, though, because your expectation, when you go to Verizon and you trying to look for a phone and you don't get nobody to greet you, you know what I mean? And then the person that walks up to you don't know no information on the phone.
Or got an attitude and huffing and puffing. What you going to do?
What you going to do? You know what you're going to do. You're going to be mad at that person. You're going to want to say, I want to speak to the manager. You see?
Right.
I want to speak to the person that's in charge. I want to speak to the person that got everybody in the preparations and these sorts of things, right? So I challenge any of the football players to get mad when we call them out. It's for them to go walk into some of those stores and they don't get the quality of services that they're paying for. And expect for them to say, well, you know, that Verizon employee, all they got to do next week is execute the next time you come in for that bill, and we will have a better experience. We'll have a better moment. At some point, that becomes mute to our ears, you see, and you get frustrated and you get angry, and you're going to want to move some stuff around in there, regardless of you the football player or you just a common man. So that's what I want these football players to understand. Boy,
if fans are paying $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $1,000 for seats, that's helping pay your salary. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying I understand the players because I played the game, so I'm not taking all the damn fans. So I get it. I understand the player side. I trust me. I played it. And you don't want to hear that stuff all the time. I get it. And the stupid questions that you get, I get it. But when you got them fans paying that much money and, you know, paying to get to your autographs, and it might get old, but that's help paying you. Every time you go out and you sign, that's help paying you. That's bringing money to you. So you're going to expect people to talk trash when they're spending $1,000 on a ticket and then you see a product like that,
Right.
I'm gonna be mad too. If I spend $1,000 on a ticket, dog, to go see my Cowboys play, and I seen us play like that against the Bears, I'm going off too.
All the way off.
I'm going all the way off. And everybody who's paying them tickets in the stadium have to be mad because that's paying the salaries. None of these football players are coming to empty stadiums and playing the game because they just love it. They're playing it to get paid. It's a job. So when you're at a job, you're getting evaluated like everybody else. They're on a higher level than us regular people. Okay. I get it. I know. But it's still performance-based, and you need to perform on the field.
Yes, indeed.
Period. Especially when you got talent to do it.
I mean, Big Game James, you speaking nothing but the truth right now. And they should hear this, and they should understand what we are saying. And this is not us complaining. We just explaining, Cowboy Nation.
Step up.
Step it up. Hey, this is a must-win game. And I expect for us to get out there and win. You know?
They better.
They better show us something, or at least make this thing competitive. And we better not miss no dang on field goal kick.
Dog, you already know that's gonna happen, bro. I'm sorry. I just feel it. I just feel it. Everybody's clamoring for Maher. It's just only kind of right for Maher. Right, he'll be probably sitting at home, and this dude will probably miss 2 field goals, be like, ha ha ha.
Oh my goodness, man. All right, James, man, let them know, man. What's up, man? Let them know where they can find your content, find your information at. Although we're live like 95 on your page, but still let the other people know on this side of the world know where to go, where they can find you at and all these sorts of things.
Well, first of all, I'd like to always give a shout out to everybody who was in the chat box in Silver and Blue Nation. I appreciate all the comments. Sorry I didn't get to everybody, but I was watching everybody's comments, and I appreciate everybody who's always in there. Appreciate everybody who's in your on your page, Law, who's took the time to listen to us. So I always give a shout out to you guys. Thank you very much. But if you want to check me out, you can check me out on Silver and Blue Nation on the YouTube, which is going on right now. Our Facebook page. Haven't been going hard a lot on that, but we'll be back on the scene doing our live shows on there as well. Instagram, Twitter. I got my guy Ryan. He writes for me as well.
Shout out to Ryan Humford, right?
Ryan Humford always goes hard with the the content on Silver and Blue and our Twitter page. So also please check out. I got a podcast going on called Stargaze Podcast. We actually did an episode today. It's our 7th episode. Me and my young guy Skywalker Still. Check his page out. He's got the YouTube
dope content, really good. Man. Y'all two brothers there, man. I just need to be a guest one day, man.
Hey, come on, man. We got the phone line, dog. You already said that you on next week. Anyway, you already got Law in effect. So we're gonna make that bang. That's gonna even be a better show. But please go check out that podcast. Support it. It's going good. We really want to push that hard. So as much support you guys can give, I appreciate all the donations and the super chats today. Thank you very much for you guys, and just continue to donate and grow the nation over here in Silver and Blue and Big Game James, so we can continue to make this happen for you guys.
Yes, indeed, man. And shout out to all of those, man, that's in this thing. General Jones, Akeem Smith, Lovin' A. Reeves, man. I really appreciate each and every last one of you all. Always a lady, Q Childs, man. Shout out to the Qs, man. And shout out to Kong and the Faith, man. I appreciate each and every last one of you all who joined the Silver and Blue Elite Squad. If you join that thing, you just help me out. You help the Cowboys Nation out. You help Big Game James out, because we're going to continue to give you guys the content. Content is not easy. It's hard, but this is a labor of love. And for me to see 1,423 people, and now it's 1,400 people in here, man.
That's dope.
Blessing, man. That's a dope, man. I'm happy.
That's awesome.
James, when I first started this thing, I was happy to see 4 or 5 people in here, man. Just awesome. Talk Cowboys. I'm from Natchez, Mississippi, bro.
Yeah.
And shout out to my Facebook panel, Gambino and Terrence, all
Gambino.
of you all. Cindy and all of you all as well. I really appreciate you all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Dallas Cowboys Sports Talk and Beyond. We're going to get this thing going. We got to find a way to get this victory. At the end of the day, we talk bad about the Cowboys, but we be the first ones out there grinning and, listen.
Hell yeah.
Grinning is all we can get out. Just like, yeah, Cowboys, how about them Cowboys when we
need
win?
To be able to talk some trash. We've been awful quiet these last few weeks. I'm tired of these people trolling and getting in my messenger and my page and texting me like y'all suck. Can I get Jerry, football team, Can y'all win this game so I can talk some trash to somebody, please?
Yes. It's been too long, man.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, winning is the best deodorant, Cowboy Nation. Let's put some of it on. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Turn that beat up. There we go. Hey. What that Jerry Jones? I gotta play Jerry Jones on the way out, man. I gotta find that Jerry Jones clip, man. We're gonna listen to Jerry Jones one more time. Maybe that will motivate everything, man. If I can find it. Here we go. Didn't put up a good old Jerry Jones on our way out. Here we go.
The Cowboys fans want answers today. What answer do you have for how this team is playing right now?
We're not playing very well.
Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed as an organization about how the team is playing?
Get your damn act together yourself.
Let's go,
we're going to have a
Cowboys.
good visit this morning, but